I need your help. We need to go on a quick adventure.
You said I could go to school today.
That was before I needed something, Morty. Let's go. In and out. 20 minutes adventure.
Peeps, we are back at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, and we are here on Labor Day weekend. And normally we try not to come on holiday weekends because it gets really crowded. We try to avoid the summer. It took us about 20 minutes to get through the gates at the front of the park to pay for parking.
It's 10:40.
It's 10:40. But we are here, like I said, because it is the first weekend of Bier Fest, and it's our only opportunity to come for Bier Fest, take you around, show you what they're doing this year for Bier Fest, and they've also started setting up Howl-O-Scream stuff. So we're going to take a look at that stuff too. Let's head on in. Like I said, crowds on crowds on crowds. This is the line to buy a ticket. Over there they have self-service kiosks to buy tickets. I think it's going to be a pretty crowded day. We'll see if we can get on any rides. But we're definitely going to check out the Bier Fest and the Howl-O-Scream decorations. They've got the sign up for Howl-O-Scream. Select dates through October 29th. It starts with a past member preview on September 22nd, I think. We are going to show you the new stuff. Well, we're going to show you where the new stuff is going to be. There's a new house and a new scare zone, and we'll be walking by both of them. So we'll show you that today. And we are here, heading into Busch Gardens. Very excited. Like I said, a very crowded day, but right up here is typically Ripper Alley during Howl-O-Scream. It doesn't look like any of that stuff is set up just yet. Usually they have all this stuff set up right here that you walk through. It has body parts hanging. They have crows hanging from the wires. They've got an advertisement over there. But right now, not much has been set up, at least in the Banbury Cross area of the park. Over here in the Globe Theater as you enter the park, right now it's a Britmania song and dance show. During Howl-O-Scream, it is another song and dance show themed to horror. I believe it's called Monster Stomp. I'll put the correct title on the bottom of the video if I'm wrong. Oh, actually, I correct myself. They've got the crows going up already. You can see them kind of over there, a bit along the top of that building right there. It's coming, people. It's beginning to look a lot like Halloween. Pumpkins are out in the trees. These will be lit up at night during Howl-O-Scream, and they kind of go all throughout the trees. I think that the last couple of years they've had ghosts in the trees. This year, swapped them out for the classic jack-o'-lantern look. And even more pumpkins as we make our way towards the Ireland area of the park. Love the look, love the pumpkins. Halloween season is coming. They've got the giant pumpkin out already. Now you can't tell during the day, but at night it lights up from inside and has a jack-o'-lantern face. Very cool. We're about to walk through Ireland right now, which is the home of the Fiends music show. I believe also Unearthed. The Unearthed house featuring Scarlet's Revenge, which was the theme from a couple of years ago, is also housed in here. So the Unearthed Scarlet's Revenge house typically enters in the rear back there and exits right here. What I find interesting is that they're actually going to do the Unearthed house this year, because as far as I know, they're doing construction in that area, in this building right here, for their new Virtual Reality 2018 ride. I guess it doesn't obstruct the construction or doesn't get anywhere near it. But yeah, Unearthed exits right there. And another thing I wanted to mention is that right here in Grogan's Pub, they're going to have brewery talks. Today it's featuring a cidery, Busky Cider, but typically Bier Fest is only relegated to the back of the park in Oktoberfest, which is literally like right in the back of the park. But this year I think they've branched out, brought in other areas, including the brewery talks right here in Grogan's Pub. As I mentioned, right here in the Abbey Stone Theater is where Fiends is going to be. It's a song and dance show. It's got dirty humor. It's got naughty nurses and Dr. Frankenstein. It's a fun show, not necessarily appropriate for all audiences, but you'll get a good laugh out of it. Now we are walking into the France area of the park, which is where they're going to have the Demon Street territory set up. Typically they have a bunch of demons, a bunch of like fake flames across the roof. Right there where you see the All for One sign is typically the entrance to the Catacombs haunted house. It's a returning house for this year. Very cool inside. Not a long house, but pretty intricate one. And if you haven't seen All for One, it only plays once a day. I've never seen it. It's a Three Musketeer themed, I guess, stunt show? I don't know. I've heard good things. But right there, Catacombs. Since there's pretty much no wait, we're going to go ahead and ride the Griffin. It says it's about like a 10-minute wait. I don't see many people in the queue, so it's almost a walk-on. We're heading in now. As you leave the France area of the park, you head into New France, which, for those of you who haven't heard me say this, is Canada. And so, previously, this area was themed to Wendigo Woods, where they had a giant Wendigo chained up, and it was like this infestation had gotten out. Really cool scare zone, or territory. This year, they're actually theming it to a Viking scare territory called Axe Alley. And I guess that kind of goes with their new Viking-themed roller coaster, Invader, which is also in this area of the park. Once again, this year, Germany is going to be themed to Vampire Point. So you'll have, like, Dracula-looking vampires standing outside the gates here. A bunch of different vampire statues and vampire actors walking around this area of the park. This is also where they put the escape rooms. There are 2 escape rooms this year. The returning escape room themed to last year's Puppet. And they also have a haunted hotel escape room that's going to be available this year. They are an upcharge, but they are well worth it. It's a cool half-hour experience. The escape rooms are both going to be in this building right here in the heart of Germany. In fact, you can see right there, I don't know if you can see it, I'll get a little closer. The TV actually says, "No escape." Right here, between Germany and Oktoberfest, which is up here, will be the entrance to Cornered, which is the cornfield scarecrow-themed maze when Howl-O-Scream opens. And as you enter the Oktoberfest area of the park, it's set up for Bier Fest. You can see up ahead, they have the beer vendors out. Now, as I understand it, they offer a beer pass. I'll show you that here in a second. It's $22 and includes 10 4-ounce tastings. Not a bad deal. And as we pass Dark Castle, I want to mention that this is where the new haunted house this year is going to be. Frostbite. They actually shut down the ride here in a couple of days and will be converting it to a walk-through haunted house. In fact, actually, it may already be closed because they've got the gate over it. But Frostbite, new house, will be there. We'll show you that opening weekend of Howl-O-Scream. And as you enter the Oktoberfest area of the park, it's set up for Bier Fest. You can see up ahead, they have the beer vendors out. Now, as I understand it, they offer a beer pass. I'll show you that here in a second. It's $22 and includes 10 4-ounce tastings. Not a bad deal. And as we pass Dark Castle, I want to mention that this is where the new haunted house this year is going to be. Frostbite. They actually shut down the ride here in a couple of days and will be converting it to a walk-through haunted house. In fact, actually, it may already be closed because they've got the gate over it. But Frostbite, new house, we'll be there. We'll show you that opening weekend of Howl-O-Scream. Here are some beers that are available.
Keep this, but this is what we have for the whole season of Bier Fest.
Oh, wow, thank you.
Look at it and give it back.
Give it back.
Will do.
Yes. Wow, 150 beers.
So a gentleman just handed this to us. 150 beers are available throughout the entire event, 2017 Bier Fest. We're not going to scroll through all of them, but you can see there's a significant list. Here's what's available today. A bunch of local beers. Virginia Beer Company, Coelacanth, Trapezium. Those are all relatively local. Foothills is in North Carolina. Aleworks is also local. In fact, most of these are local beers, and they have the beers right here. Right across from the beer tent, they also offer multiple food options. You've got your turkey legs up there, and you've also got fest foods up here, including corn dogs, pretzels, beer mustard and cheese sauce, as well as Landjäger, which is a German-style smoked and dried sausage. Those are the prices, not too bad, as well as your traditional bottled beers. Also available at the turkey leg booth is the Hanchen Schnitzel. We recommend the frosted nuts, cashews, or pecans. Very good. They also have schnitzel, chicken schnitzel on a bun with caper sauce and a lemon slice. And as I mentioned, here's where you get your Bier Fest sampler card, 10 4-ounce samples, $22. And here are the locations where you can actually redeem your samplers. There's a couple in Oktoberfest, a couple in the Fest House. Actually, most of it's in Oktoberfest. But there's also bars in England, Ireland, and other areas of the park as well. There is another food booth right next to where you purchase your beer sampler tickets. This one has Jaeger Schnitzel, Bratwurst, and Currywurst. So a bunch of different types of sausages. Here's a look at the Bier Fest sampler cart. Looks a lot like last year's. 10 tastings. And here is another bar right in front of the Fest House that you can get more samples at. So a bunch of different places you can get. It looks like later on they're going to open up this cider tasting booth. Not a big cider fan, so don't look forward to us testing that out. But we're going to go get some beer samples. So later on today, from at 12:30, 1:30, 3, 4, and 5:30, they're going to have live music out here on the balcony from the Happy Dutchman. And next weekend, they're actually going to have the DeLoreans, which is an 80s cover band that's actually really good. And inside the Fest House, they have an October Zest show, song and dance number. Sounds like a lot of fun. So you have music inside, you have music outside. There's also a craft beer bar at the back of the Fest House that we'll show you here shortly. I see a bunch of guys walking around wearing their lederhosen. And this bar right here outside of the Fest House that I was just showing you will be converted to a vampire-themed bar. I think it's vampire-themed bar. It's Halloween-themed bar when Howl-O-Scream starts. Good place to get drinks. You'll see coffins up on the bar, all sorts of cool stuff. While I'm here in front of Fest House, I want to mention back to the right will be the entrance to Lumberhack, which is their haunted sawmill lumberjack themed haunted house. In previous years, the entrance to Bitten, their vampire themed haunted house, has been to the left. Unfortunately, it's not returning this year. It's being replaced with Frostbite. And inside the Fest House, there is another song and dance show called Night Beats. And check it out, the cider tasting booth has opened. Hard cider, summer wine. It looks like there's an artisanal hard cider tasting for $14.99, and it includes a souvenir glass. First beer sample of the day. We got our little...
They scan the back and they punch so they scan the barcode on the back?
They scan the barcode on the back, they punch it. 9 to go. This is the size of a 4-ounce tasting. So if you're trying to keep count, $20, $22. And it's almost 3 beers.
But you can also buy a full cup.
Yeah, you can also buy a full cup but a full cup is like $10 for 16 ounces.
I just mean if you find something you like, they'll sell you a full cup of it.
So we got the Wasserhund Oktoberfest. Wasserhund is a brewery located in Virginia Beach, Virginia. We love it. They serve pizza. Good place. I'm going to try this Oktoberfest. Yeah, that's a good Oktoberfest. Sprechen die Deutsch? If not, here is a sign to help you. Guten Tag. Busch Gardens also offers this souvenir mug for $14 for the Bier Fest. Here's a little history lesson about schnapps. They were developed in Germany, Holland, and Austria, and at first was produced from fermented corn mash. Here's a bunch of other facts. You can pause the video and read. Pretty interesting stuff. If you've ever had peppermint schnapps, you know you probably don't want it again. But other varieties of schnapps. And right past the schnapps booth, or the schnapps sign, is this area. It's another food booth. They sell a bratwurst pretzel, a jumbo pretzel, and here's a Bier Fest sign. Willkommen zu Busch Gardens Bier Fest. A little bit past the Bier Fest area and right across from Verbolten is this Frost frozen beverage bar. They have frozen beverages including Larry's Lemonade, Angry Orchard. So it looks like they make frozen beverages out of beer or ciders. They also have draft beer here during Bier Fest. Wild Wolf Blonde Honey, Curious Traveler Pumpkin Shandy, people. And right next to that, there is a place called Pretzels and Beer. You can see the sign over there. It's a pretzel and a beer. And it's open year-round. So if you want some pretzels, you want some beer, look for the Mock Tower. Go in here. Great food, great beer. I got the Jacko Traveler Pumpkin
I got the blonde honey.
Jen got the blonde honey from Wild Wolf.
Which we already know we like.
Yeah, it's delicious. So this is the pumpkin shandy. I think I've had it before, but not sure. So let's give it a shot. Okay, yeah, that tastes like fall. Lots of pumpkin in there, cinnamon, nutmeg, strong pumpkin flavor. If you like pumpkin beer, this is absolutely delicious. We're going to take a quick break from the beer since the line isn't that long, and we are going to ride my favorite roller coaster here, Verbolten. The stein that guy has. How'd you like a stein of that beer? We are now inside what is probably my favorite place to eat in the park, the Fest House. It's huge. There's always a show going on. There's one starting here shortly. They also have a craft beer room in the back, like I mentioned, and a brewery talk starting at 1 p.m. with Coelacanth Brewery. We are heading towards that right now. Like I said, there is bountiful seating here at the Fest House, unless you come during Christmas Town. This place gets insane packed during Christmas Town. And look, they have like all these deers and stuff. I haven't seen the show that's playing now. I think it's Oktoberzest. But looks like it could be a lot of fun. So, just to warn you guys, the Brew House, the craft beer room here at the back of the Fest House. If you are coming to a brewery talk, get here early. They fill up and they close the door to new people, typically about 15 to 20 minutes before the event. We're here about a half an hour, and as you can see, there's a line out the door already. Just a little further information on the Brew House. They have 30 beers on tap. This is at all times. This place is open every day the park is open. Draft beers range from $9.29 to $9.99. They offer flights for $12.50, which you can sample 4 beers. And if you get the Bier Fest sampler, it is actually good in here as well. So you can get samples of any of these beers that they have on tap. They also offer food and beverages, charcuterie, cheese boards, Reuben sliders, meatballs, pretzels, schnitzel, and they're all the beers on tap. And also, they have a Brauhaus Stein membership. You can actually sign up for a membership, and you'll have your Stein over there on the wall that you can come in and fill up anytime.
We don't make pumpkin beer. We hate pumpkin beer. It's not that. And if you like pumpkin beer, that's just because you've been brainwashed. You've been brainwashed by Starbucks, and we're trying to change that. So, we're actually having a pumpkin beer amnesty day at the brewery the week after this. So from September 13th through the 15th, if you bring your pumpkin beer in, we will dispose of it for you down the drain, and we will give you a coupon, thank you, that is good for either one of our canned beers or our fall beer, which is a caramel apple pie porter, which is a collaboration. The second year we did this with Bold Rock, familiar with those guys, makes great cider, and Parkway Brewing out in Roanoke, who are friends of ours. So just say no to pumpkin and come over to apple. Apple is where you should be.
The coelacanth is a fish that existed in the fossil record that was thought to be extinct about 65 million years ago. In the 1920s, off the coast of South Africa, a fisherman pulled one up in a fishing net. And so it was then sent to a fish market. Thankfully, nobody tried to eat it because it would be a horrible mistake to try to eat one. They're really nasty fish. But a fish scientist happened to be in that market that day and saw it and was like, oh my gosh, that is a coelacanth. They are supposed to be extinct. So they were discovered to be still alive. They are virtually unchanged since prehistoric days. So they're considered a living fossil. In the 1980s, there was a second group of coelacanths found off the coast of Indonesia. It's slightly variant, but again, a living fossil. So why did we pick it as a brewery name? Well, because Kevin wanted to pick a brewery name that people couldn't pronounce was part of it, right? That's one reason. 2, it was very easily trademarked, right? There was no coelacanth brewing company already. But third, and most importantly, was the fact that we, as we've said, we like to do things a little bit different. We resurrect a lot of older beer styles, like the Goza, for example, which Kevin has talked about, is a very ancient style. We do a lot of traditional, like we have traditional Bocks, like German Bocks or bitters or things like that are more traditional beers that are not necessarily as trendy right now. So we like to do those, but with a modern twist. So we, in a sense, are kind of like a living fossil as well. Keep true to our roots, but with a little bit of a modern twist. So, great question about the name for the brewery. One of my favorites.
Here's a look at some of the Bier Fest merchandise. There's this shirt that says Firkin Thirsty. I think that might be the front of the same shirt, actually. These cool steins. You've got this Lederhosen mug, $20. You've also got this other mug that also looks, wow, terribly inappropriate, but still fun. There's some Oktoberfest shirts down here as well, keychains over there, wallets, and you've got that bird holding a beer. Even though it's technically not the theme this year, Busch Gardens brought out the Howl-O-Scream Evil Encore banners for the bridge. There is an escape room themed to the Evil Encore theme, the Mr. Carver's Workshop. If you have not done that, did not do it last year, it is returning this year, absolutely recommend it. We did it last year. It was a ton of fun. It's a half-hour experience. Like I previously mentioned, it is an upcharge, but there is a scare actor in there with you, interactive elements, cool escape room. It includes the cost of a photo at the end of it. As you exit the bridge into Italy, there's an amphitheater up here, and that is where the Starfright Orchestra will be. It's a live song orchestra production. I've never actually seen it. I think it only does shows like once or twice an evening, but it's going to be right here in Italy. Tons of ample seating. Like I mentioned, it is Labor Day weekend, and this is the third eating establishment that we've passed that has a line out the door into a separate queue. So this place is definitely picking up. It's probably almost around 2 o'clock now as we make our way back towards the front of the park. I'm going to show you a couple more things related to Howl-O-Scream as we make our way there. As you pass Italy, depending on which way you come from the front of the park, it'll either be right before Italy or right after Italy. You have the Festa Italia area of Busch Gardens Williamsburg, and here is where you will find Carnival, which is a territory themed to, obviously, a carnival, in addition to the Circo Sinistro, all the way at the back of this area, which will also be a carnival circus themed haunted house. It was my favorite house last year. Totally recommend it. Also, if you're looking for a place to eat, they have a pizza and pasta buffet for $15 for adults that includes pizza, salad, and pasta and desserts. Also, back here at the back, right across from where Circo Sinistro is. Since it's only a 15-minute wait while we're in the Festa Italia area of the park, we're going to go ahead and ride Apollo's Chariot. So we did not ride Invader today because it was over an hour wait. And we were willing to wait for it, but then the ride had technical difficulties. So we figured, it's a good roller coaster, but probably not worth a 90-minute wait. So we've managed to ride 3 other roller coasters in probably the same amount of time. So we're about to get on Apollo's Chariot. And finally, as we make our way towards the front of the park and pass Escape from Pompeii, right up here where the entrance is normally to Escape from Pompeii, which is kind of a water ride. You can actually see it coming down now. But anyway, at the base of this, under the ride, they have Deadline set up, which is the last haunted house I wanted to mention today. It is a zombie subway themed house. Actually, really cool. Lots of cool effects done in that one. And right here near the front of the park. So if depending on which way you turn, it may be the first haunted house you hit in the night. One last look at all the jack-o'-lanterns hanging from the trees as we make our way back towards Banbury Cross and the exit to the park. If you still have notches left on your Bier Fest sampler card, on the way out from the park, there's a bar called the Fuzzy Hats, and they have beer here that you can get samples here as well. All right, peeps, that does it for us today at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. We checked out Bier Fest. We showed you where Howl-O-Scream stuff is going to be. We got popcorn. There it is. But we are going to be back here in 3 weeks. Next week, we're going to be in Beach Mountain, North Carolina for the Land of Oz. We'll tell you more about that in that video. I'll be there with Kyle from View from the Cheap Seats.
Right.
In 2 weeks, we're going to be in Orlando, Florida for the opening of Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios Orlando. And then we'll be back here for opening night of Busch Gardens Williamsburg Howl-O-Scream, showing you all the good stuff then. So thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, talk back below, and we will see you next time.